Hello, friends. Anna Suddeth here. I'm the Director of Children and Family Ministries at St. Peter's by the Sea. And normally I'm here every week giving our church school lesson. And today I'm here not just to give our children, but to give our whole church family a message and word to be offered about Ash Wednesday. So Ash Wednesday is our traditional start to the season of Lent, which is the season that begins today, Ash Wednesday, and leads up to Easter. It's a season in the church when we turn inwards a little bit and we're kind of thoughtful about what's going on. And in particular, it's a time where we particularly remember the things that we do that keep us distant from God and the things that keep us distant from each other. And we try and think about and remember those things so we can be careful to, instead of drawing farther away from God and others, to draw closer to God. And because we're drawing closer to God, to draw closer to others too. So, one of my favorite things of my job at St. Peter's is that I get to be a part of the baptisms at our church. When families bring their children to be baptized, I get to stand up there when our pastors baptize the baby. And when we baptize, we use water is what's used for the baptism. It's water that's blessed, and the pastor has special words that they say that remind us of the promises that God has for us. Not just the promises that God has for us, but the promises we make back to God, both as families, as individual people, and as a church. And a part of that baptism is the pastor takes water and it goes on the person's head, but the pastor also marks on the person's forehead with the water in the shape of a cross. And that really connects to what we're doing today at Ash Wednesday, because instead of the water that shows us that we belong to God, even before we have words to tell God that we love God back, God claims us and we belong to God. And that cross on the forehead and the water is one of the ways that we are blessed with that connection to God. And today on Ash Wednesday, we do that same thing. We put a cross on our forehead or on our hand, but instead of with water, we do that with ashes. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Maybe you've seen that before other years. And we say, "From dust you come, and to dust you will return." And what we're saying when we say that can be kind of a surprising or a shocking thing to hear, that we come from dust and we're going to return to dust. But it's not meant to be shocking. It's meant to remind us that God created us, and it is God who holds us from before we were alive on earth and into eternity and afterlife here. God is the one that holds us. And with that, God is what makes us who we are. And dust is what we come from, but God is what brings and breathes life into us. So when you see ashes like this on someone's forehead, maybe you'll get to participate in our service at church, or you'll be able to do this at home with your family, or you might see other people walking around. It's a symbol that we belong to God, and we remember that God made us and holds us always. So my encouragement for you guys is today on Ash Wednesdays that you find special ways to remember and to think about ways that we might be staying distant from God and not remembering how we belong to God. There are lots of different ways that we can draw closer to God during this season. A lot of people find special ways to pray. One of the ways we do that was with a labyrinth. And I'm going to show you this right here. I have one on paper here. And I'll have it linked on our website, at our St. Peter's website. And this particular one here, instead of walking with your feet, you can use your finger as you're praying to move like this. And the idea of a labyrinth is you say the same prayer, a really simple one, over and over again. And that God speaks to us in the kind of the quiet moments it takes in a simple prayer. If you don't want to do one on paper, you might be able to set one up in your own home. You can use some sidewalk chalk and make one on a driveway or in a parking lot, as long as it's safe to do so. You can make one in a backyard. You could use some sticks even in a park to create a space to walk. And the idea is you say a simple prayer over and over again. It might be a Bible verse. It might be the words that we say on Ash Wednesday. From dust you come, and to dust you will return. But I hope that you find a way today to remember who you are and who made you. And I'm going to close us in a prayer. So if you will please bow your head with me. Dear God of our whole selves, as we journey through this season of Lent, teach us how to give so that we can joyfully respond when you call us to serve. Teach us how to pray so that we can be closer to you in all that we do throughout the day. Teach us how to let go so nothing can stand in the way of our connection with you. Teach us how to prepare so we can be ready to receive your love, wisdom, and blessing. Help us remember that in all ways we belong to you. Amen. Amen, friends.